So there's a huge space of chaos that's inside of us and outside of us. And out of this chaos, amazing syntropy will come. We're all growing, the planet, all the people, everything is growing right now. But in the meantime, we're feeling a very sense of unsettled, uncertain, sort of floaty space. So we add to that our own individual personal growth and all that we're going through in our own personal spaces. And there's a tendency for ourselves as we go through our life to feel scattered pieces. So the visual, I'm a very visual person. So here's my description. We have our vertical pillar of light, and within this light, we're commanding our alignment of all of our parts. That includes all the parts and pieces that when I was a child and somebody was really mean to me in elementary school and I felt left out and cornered out, that part of me felt outside of this verticality at that time. It was feeling very hurt and alone and like, why is this happening to me in my world? Those parts of us, those fragments sort of stay out where they are. So then we have these pieces. We have our pillar of lightness, and we have pieces of us that are dangling out somewhere in the frozen space, because where we get shocked or where we get trauma or where we get deep hurt, we freeze right there. And unless there's some higher being in us, including obviously our own higher self, our own presence of being, creator, whatever you consider is your source of healing that comes through you, unless that part helps us gather these pieces and bring them into this verticality, we remain with parts of us kind of scattered. Now, I realize this is a work of a lifetime. There's so much to do, but in the moments where we are tuning into our verticality, it means that we're also calling in all of those scattered pieces that were, even if it's just for this moment now, even if it's just in all we have is now. So as soon as we heal in that moment, we heal so many parts we don't even know. Now, maybe our mind is going to want to say, well, it took me a lifetime to experience all these things. So how is it possible that I could heal in a moment? It's possible. And we're just still also working with our availability of that possibility and how much our mind and our being is going to allow. So we keep working with ourselves as we adjust. Ultimately, whenever we heal in the moment. There's no other time. So when we are in the moment, when we're tapping into this vertical flow, and today we're going to do this by also downloading Creator's definition of absolute trust and absolute faith, which means that when we are in these uncertain times and we do not know what the next steps look like, we have no idea, everything feels very floaty and unclear, that we have absolute trust that the steps are going to be made visible as we need them. And that is huge. It's something to say, it's something else to really feel. So when we're going into this download, we're commanding the download of absolute trust and absolute faith as it comes from Creator into all the cells of our being. Then we're going to function in that space by pulling in our scattered pieces that don't feel safe, because when we're not in that protection, or when we're not in that wholeness, or when we're not in that verticality, or parts of us are spread out, those parts that are spread out or scattered don't feel safe. If I'm feeling like a little girl that's kind of in a corner and something happened to me that's got me in a trauma state from that time, I don't feel the vertical pillar of light and I don't feel that connectivity. So I feel left out and alone. So now I'm saying in our light of theta, whatever way, if we do it in our superhero pose and we're really claiming it and pulling in that absolute trust and absolute faith and pulling in all our pieces, we're talking about in this moment right now. We are the spiral, the magnet, the master of this piece, the master of this vertical flow in connection with Creator, pulling in like a magnet all the parts of us that have been left out somewhere feeling unsafe. So in this now, we feel absolute trust, absolute faith with all our pieces feeling safety from being in this verticality. So that's my goal and aim and intention for today's class. And let's get to it.